Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day, or some people would say Heart Day. Thank you. Yes, we can make some hearts. Thank you for joining us today as we explore the topic, the wisdom of the heart, and how the heart affects the four pillars: body, mind, spirit, and emotions. MER, Movement for Everyday Resilience, was created by Heather Skoll. She is the founder of the Heather Skoll Wellness Program and the four-pillar approach: body, mind, spirit, and emotions. Heather has been in the wellness field for over 40 years and holds certifications as a Kripada yoga teacher, certified Rubenfeld synergist with extensive experience in fitness, martial arts, nutrition, meditation, mindfulness, and various therapeutic and healing modalities. Heather has been teaching yoga classes since 2000. She moved her business online in January 2021, teaching movement classes using a chair and on the floor. She works mainly with those over 60 who are experiencing pain and other challenges limiting their movement. Heather is so excited to provide her clients with connections, with the opportunity to learn from other wellness experts. Today's guest is JOAN Brooks. JOAN Brooks is a certified Rubenfeld synergist, somatic healing priestess, and the sole licensed certification training director for the Rubenfeld Synergy method, a profound and effective healing modality. For over 20 years, JOAN has helped women heal their trauma and wounds. JOAN's work has helped hundreds of women come home to their sacred body, which is their greatest resource and best friend. As a result, her clients are able to step into their full power, manifest their purpose, and take their rightful place in the world. Heather and JOAN connected through the Rubenfeld Synergy training, and they have been friends for over 20 years. 20 years. Thank you for joining us today, JOAN Brooks.
Oh, thank you. My honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Heather. Thank you, Miranda.
So before we get into the discussion, please remember that you can change to the speaker view so that you can see the speaker on the full screen. And you can also use the chat to ask questions and leave comments, because we will have a short Q&A section at the end. So my first question is, of course, to the guest, JOAN. What has your journey been like working with clients as a Rubenfeld synergist?
What has my journey been like? Wow. Well, I'll kind of start at the beginning. Heather and I met the very first, like almost the moment we arrived at our first training module in 1998. Heather and I met at the door, I think. And so that's the beginning of my journey. And Heather's been on my journey ever since. And so my journey in the beginning really was 12 years of learning and deepening and honing my skills and really becoming a master synergist. And so in the beginning, it was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do my best. And then developing my skills as I went along. And where I am today is even more in love with Rubenfeld Synergy, which is the modality that I have learned, practiced, and taught for over 20 years. and more aware of and respectful of the incredible innate wisdom and healing ability of the body. So in the beginning, I would try to lead the client where I thought they should go.
Yes.
And today, I trust their body, that their body knows what's ready to be revealed, their body knows what's ready to be healed, and their body knows how to heal it. All I really need to do is guide and facilitate the asking of that. And that's where I am today, an even deeper love and appreciation and trust in the body.
Okay, thank you so much for that. As I said in the introduction, where you said you help women to come home to their sacred body, that is like the greatest resource and best friend. It sounds amazing already, and I'm getting goosebumps just from your, first little intro right here. So thank you so much for that. And Heather, would you have anything to add? What's your journey been like?
Great. So as Joan mentioned, we met even before our training actually started. And when we were standing at the door, I don't even think Joan introduced herself or her name. And she said, I'm going to teach this work one day. So she's really been true to that vision. At the time and in my life, I was just in a time where I needed my own help and healing and recovery. And it was like, oh, okay, that's nice. And I have trained to also train and to learn to teach. And although that is not my journey, I really like much more direct working with clients. Yeah. So our paths are a little different. But as Rubenfeld synergists, some of the biggest things we learned, and there's a few Rubenfeld synergists on the call as well, is really to honor a person as a whole, that it's not like, even if we're talking about the heart today, we're not just talking about the heart. It's like, it's an entryway to looking at a person as a whole, and a whole as in their energy, their life, their body, their mind, their spiritual connection, their emotions, and in particular, Rubenfeld synergy has really been the place where we learn how to really be with somebody's emotions. So unlike other modalities where you might find somebody crying on a table because maybe they've had a massage and it's brought things up. No, in Rubenfeld synergy, we go there and we go to those places where the wounds are opening, and that it becomes that place where they have a guide, a facilitator, an ally to spend the time with to heal the wounds.
Okay. Thank you so much. That leads to my second question, which is, how does the heart affect the four pillars? Because I know that we're talking about the wisdom of the heart. How does it affect the four pillars? So Heather, you can answer first, and then I'd like to get Joan insights on that question as well.
Sure. So when we think of the heart and we think of like the physical heart, you can think of aspects of the heart of your heartbeat and your heart beating fast or your heart beating slow. Maybe your heart beats really fast at times when you're feeling anxiety, or there's some things in your life pushing you to go quickly. So there's like a body aspect because there is a physical heart. In terms of the mind, for example, when the heart is overbeating, if it's beating really, really fast, is there this sense of the mind going really quickly as well? So whether it's an aspect of the physical heart, or is it your life causing your mind to circle and cause the heart to go quickly? And then when you take it to the emotions, it's around what's behind that, or what's underneath that. Is the heart beating super fast because you're afraid of something, or is there something driving you that's a stress that you may not have taken the time to look at. And then finally, the spiritual part. I always think of spirit not so much as something religious or even kind of out there, but I think of spiritual help and support of ourselves, or our self-care. And so when I think of the heart and self-care, I think of things like being aware of that heartbeat, doing things that soothe and calm our heart. It could be something like a warm bath. It could be something like sitting out in when the weather's not so cold like it is here, sitting outside and just looking at nature. It could be anything that just feels calming. So if your heart is running fast, what's something you can do for self-care and self-love? And that's kind of the way the heart, I see, can be looked at through the 4 pillars. And I'll turn it over to Joan.
Thank you.
I don't think I have anything to add to that. I would say that back in the late 1960s, Alana Rubenfeld, the founder of the work, Rubenfeld's Energy Method, was already talked about. It was her tagline, her purpose for Rubenfeld's Energy was to integrate the body, mind, emotions, and spirit. So she already knew it's a principle of Rubenfeld's Energy that they're interrelated and interconnected, and you can't work on just one or be in contact with just one without actually being in contact with all 4 of those pillars, because that's the way we're developed and designed as human beings.
Okay, thank you for that bit of information. I will definitely be rewatching the video and take notes. That's what I do every month. So Joan, I know that you work with a lot of clients, lots of women. So how can we make contact with the heart in a meaningful way? Because it sounds like a simple question, but I know for some people it may be challenging to make like real contact.
And you know, it actually is simple. And this applies to men and women and genderful and non-gender and gender fluid, to everybody who walks on 2 legs. And so is it okay if I take our audience, our viewers, through a process?
Sure, go ahead.
So if you have paper and pen, you're going to want to take good notes, because anytime your heart or any part of your body speaks to you, you want to take good notes. So get your notebook or paper and pen ready. And then you can just set them down for the moment. You won't need them just at this minute, but you want to have them close by.
Okay.
And now start. If it feels safe enough to do so, allow your eyes to close or to soften and come back more into yourself. You can hear my voice, but you don't need to pay attention to anything except you and your body. Yeah, and allow your breath to soften and slow a little bit as you just move deeper into yourself. Yeah, nice breath. And now with your hand or hands, make contact with your heart. That's it. Just placing your hands softly and fully on your heart. This is what Alana called Rubenfeld. This is what Alana called butterfly touch. A soft, full contact. And first notice physical sensations, like my heart is pounding. and say hello to your heart. And ask your heart on this day of this Valentine's Day, this day of love. Ask your heart, how can I have more love and compassion for myself? How can I have more love and compassion for myself? When you hear that answer, write it down. And then come back to your heart and ask, is there anything else you want me to know in this moment? It's a more open-ended question. Is there anything else you want me to know in this message, in this moment? Any message you want to give me? When you hear that answer, write that answer down. And then one more time, coming back to your heart and saying thank you. You know, this muscle that beats 60 to 100 times a minute, starting from the 6 weeks of conception through the end of your life, every minute. So say thank you to your heart. You can open your eyes and come back to this Zoom room with the rest of us. Yeah, thank you. I see your gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you. I was wondering if it's okay to speak.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Joan, for this tool. For me, I don't know, but it made me emotional. Heather, would you like to share from the tool that we just did? Would you like to share your message, or how should people interpret the messages, they receive from the heart?
So let me speak to that a moment before you share your message. You don't need to interpret, just listen.
Okay.
The heart, the body, wherever you ask the body, if you have a headache, you could ask your headache, is there a message for me? The body speaks in simple language. So there's no need to interpret. There's just take it to heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for saying that, Joan, because when we start to interpret, it's very much we're thinking, and it's often those signals and signs from the body and those messages that actually hold information, and we don't need to analyze, we just receive. So I do want to speak about my experience, and although I've experienced Rubenfeld synergy work a lot, there are times when I'm not always in it, and Joan reminded me around this idea of dropping in. And here today, I felt like I was dropping in on a really good friend, which was my heart. And it was like visiting a good friend. And when you said, like, how can you give yourself more love and compassion? And it was, wow, I just need to drop in more often, because this is that place where this good friend lies. And then the final message was, the door is always open. So I've come away with a message around drop in and just be with that really good friend in my heart.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that, Heather. I'll share my message quickly, and then we'll turn over to the Q&A session. And if anybody else would like to share their message or ask any questions, feel free to do so. Okay, so when I did the tool just now, I heard go easy on yourself. Go easy on yourself, things will fall into place. And the second thing I heard was to relax. Because when I first touched my heart, it was racing. It was going so fast. And growing up, I was told that I have irregular heartbeats. So sometimes it goes really fast, and it was, I think, because of how my day started out. So it was quite an emotional tool for me. So thank you so much for sharing, Heather and Joan. We're going to move into the next session. If you'd like to share your message or ask any follow-up questions, now is the time to do so. So you can unmute yourselves and just ask your questions.
I know sometimes it takes a minute for our audience to open up, and I wonder if while they're thinking about saying something, if you want to, maybe Joan can talk a little bit about what she has going on in terms of programs and things that she's doing that are absolutely unique and deep.
Oh, thank you, Heather. I'd love to. So I have a 12-week online group program entitled Welcome Home to Your Sacred Body. And this is for people who have done a lot of inner work, and yet they still sometimes lack confidence, can't stand up for themselves, can't say no without feeling guilty. And this program is designed to help you come home here to this. I love what you said, to your good friend, to your best friend, to your greatest resource, so that you can step into your full power and take your rightful place in the world. The next cohort starts in May, and I think Miranda or Heather's going to put a link in the chat when we're done. So if you're interested in that, you just want to know more, you can use that link to schedule a 20-minute discovery call with me. It's not a sales call, it's just to learn more. And I will tell you that I finished the first cohort at the end of May, and the deep, I keep saying this, deep, profound, transformational healing that people experienced in that program surprised me. I didn't know that I was going to be able to do that, to have that happen in a group meeting on Zoom. And it happened. It worked.
Heather, would you like to share anything for the next MER event?
So in the month of March, we're going to take things a little bit into a different way, talking about energy and how energy can translate distantly, whether it's energy that helps with the body, mind, spirit, emotions, but also in a more physical way in terms of what ails us and how energy work can help. So I don't want to give away too much, but you will get details coming soon. And the next MER event won't be till the end of March. So we may sneak in a little bit of a Q&A with me earlier in March so that we stay connected, and that way you have some more tools to work with as well.
Okay, thank you so much. So thank you, Heather and JOAN, for today's session. To learn more about JOAN, you can check out her Facebook page at facebook.com/JoanBrooksCRS, as well as we'll share more details on how you can learn more about her 12 weeks online tool. Just to keep an update with Heather, you can visit heatherskoll.com to learn more about her programs. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a wonderful session, and I'm sure we'll all be leaving today's session appreciating our best friend more, the heart.
Yes.
So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day or Heart Day. Heart.